right, so picture this. It's 4 in the morning at the Nürburgring.
The green hell.
Exactly, the green hell. The mist is clinging to the track, campers are waking up in the forest, and the ground is just shaking. You've been watching cars scream past for 18 hours straight.
And then this one car just comes out of the fog. It's orange and white. A Porsche 911.
And it's doing something that, well, mathematically, it just shouldn't be possible.
It really was a glitch in the matrix moment. I mean, you had the factory teams from Audi, BMW, all of them driving flat out.
Right.
But they have to stop. They have to pit for fuel every 8 laps. Maybe 9 if they're lucky.
But this orange Porsche.
It just keeps going. 10 laps, sometimes 11. It's staying out there 20% longer than everyone else, but it's also pulling away from them.
That's the paradox, isn't it? Driving faster while somehow using less fuel. And the secret wasn't under the hood, it was sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah, right next to the driver, where a co-pilot would sit. This 911 had what you could only call a ghost passenger. A huge carbon fiber device spinning at 40,000 revolutions per minute.
Today, we are doing a deep dive into that car. The Porsche 911 GT3 R Hybrid, the 997 generation. And this isn't really just a story about a race car.
No, it's about a rolling laboratory, a Frankenstein machine that tried to save the combustion engine by looking backward to 19th century physics.
It's the story of the Flywheel, a piece of tech that sounds like pure science fiction.
No batteries, no chemistry, just raw spinning momentum.
And the mission for this deep dive is to figure out why. If this thing was such a game changer, why did it just disappear? Why don't we have flywheels in our cars today?
It's a fascinating story. It's really about the huge gap between race-winning engineering and, what people actually want to buy.
So let's pop the hood, or I guess let's open the passenger door on this thing, because it was basically 2 different cars welded together, wasn't it?
It was a hybrid in the most literal sense. The back half of the car.
Yeah.
Pure old school Porsche. Okay. You had that incredible 4.0-liter flat-6 engine, naturally aspirated, no turbos, just screaming its head off, sending about 480 horsepower straight to the rear wheels.
The purist's layout, that's the soul of the 911.
That's it, but then you look at the front half, and it's like a spaceship landed on it. Porsche stuck 2 water-cooled electric motors up there, one for each front wheel.
Each one putting out, what, about 80 horsepower?
Yeah, about 60 kilowatts each. So when those kicked in, it wasn't a rear-wheel drive car anymore.
It became a temporary all-wheel drive monster.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But here's the key thing that makes it so different from, say, a modern hybrid or a Tesla.
No batteries.
0 lithium-ion batteries on board. And you have to remember, this is 2010.
Right, battery tech was heavy.
It was awful for racing, just dead weight. They overheated if you charged them too quickly. And they were slow to release their energy. So the Porsche engineers said, we want something violent.
And they went to Williams.
They called up Williams Hybrid Power.
The Formula One team.
The very same. Williams had been developing a system for F1 called KR's Kinetic Energy Recovery System, using a flywheel.
Okay, so let's break that down. A magnetically loaded composite flywheel. It sounds complicated.
It is, but the concept is simple. It's not a big, heavy steel wheel from a steam engine. Think of a high-tech spinning top made of carbon fiber, and it's loaded with magnetic particles.
And it sits inside a vacuum-sealed case.
It has to. So there's 0 air resistance. If air got in there, the friction at 40,000 RPM would literally melt it. It spins in a void.
So it's all about storing mechanical energy, not chemical energy like a battery.
Exactly. With a battery, you're doing chemistry, you're moving ions around. That takes time, it creates heat. A flywheel is just momentum. So when the driver hits the brakes, diving into a corner,
Those front motors become generators.
right, they suck up the car's kinetic energy and shoot that electricity straight into the flywheel, spinning it up from idle to 40,000 RPM in seconds.
It's like winding up a massive spring instantly.
That's a great way to put it. And this gets to the idea of power density versus energy density.
I always get those 2 mixed up.
Think of it like a bucket of water. Energy density is how big your bucket is. Batteries have a big bucket. They can hold a lot of energy for a long time.
Good.
Power density is how fast you can dump that water out. A battery is like a bucket with a tiny hole. You can only get the energy out so fast.
And the flywheel?
The flywheel is tipping the entire bucket over. Instantly.
A total dump of power.
It can't hold it for long. It'll spin down eventually. But it can accept and release a massive surge of power violently, repeatedly, without breaking a sweat.
Which is perfect for racing. Brake hard, charge, accelerate hard, dump.
You've got it. The driver had a boost button on the wheel. They'd hit that, the flywheel gets electromagnetically braked, and all that energy just shoots back to the front wheels.
And what kind of kick are we talking about here?
It was about 160 extra horsepower.
Whoa.
For about 6 to 8 seconds.
That's like strapping another entire car to your front bumper whenever you want.
It completely changed the math of endurance racing. You mentioned they were doing 10 laps instead of 8.
Yeah, that seems backwards. You add 160 horsepower, you should burn more fuel, not less.
In a normal car, yes. But here, the drivers used the flywheel to fill in the gaps, coming out of a corner instead of flooring the gas pedal.
They hit the boost button.
Exactly. The electric motors did the heavy lifting to get the car moving again. The combustion engine could just kind of chill out at partial throttle, sipping fuel, while the car still accelerated like a rocket.
So they were using recycled braking energy to save fuel on acceleration.
That's what bought them those extra laps. And in a 24-hour race, if you pit 3 fewer times than your rival, you don't just win, you dominate.
But it wasn't just about efficiency, right? It was a weapon.
Oh, absolutely. The Nürburgring is narrow, and there are 200 cars on track.
It's a traffic jam at 150 miles an hour.
Basically. And normally, you get stuck behind a slow car, you lose all your momentum. With this, the driver just hit the button, instant torque at the front. The car would just claw its way out of the corner and teleport past traffic.
So it could just erase the clutter of the race. Which brings us back to 2010. The car is leading. It's a total Cinderella story. And then heartbreak.
Yeah. Hour 22, less than 2 hours to go, leading comfortably. And then it just goes silent.
I remember reading about this. Everyone just assumed the flywheel exploded. The space-age tech failed.
And that's the painful irony of the whole story. The flywheel was fine, the Williams system, the electrics, all of it was working perfectly.
So what killed it?
A valve spring. A $5 part inside the big 4.0-liter combustion engine.
You're kidding me.
A piece of technology we've been using for 100 years failed before the experimental 40,000 RPM flywheel did.
That is just painfully poetic. The future was ready, but the past broke down.
It was a DNF did not finish, but as a proof of concept, a total victory. And they proved it wasn't a fluke. They took it to a race in China later that year, and it ran faultlessly.
Okay, so this sets up the central mystery. We have a system that makes the car faster, more efficient, and it's robust. So, where is it? Why did Porsche just kill the project?
It's the classic better mousetrap fallacy. Just because it works better on a track doesn't mean you can sell it. There were, I'd say, 3 main killers of the Flywheel 911.
Let's break them down. The first one has to be packaging, right? You can't sell a car with no passenger seat.
Exactly. The ghost passenger is cool for a race car, not so much for a weekend drive. And you have to remember, if that rotor shatters at 40,000 RPM, it's essentially a grenade.
So it's inside this massive, heavy safety cell.
Right. And trying to shrink that down to fit under a seat or in a trunk while keeping it safe was an engineering nightmare.
And the cost must have been astronomical.
Huge. And complex. Porsche sells its GT3 race cars to privateer teams. Wealthy amateurs, business owners. They want a car they can run with one mechanic and a laptop.
They don't want something that needs a team of physicists from Williams to get it started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which leads to the second killer, which I think is the most interesting one. The culture. The purist problem.
Ah, yes. The third rail of Porsche engineering.
The 911 GT3 brand is a religion. And the commandments are lightness, naturally aspirated engine, rear-wheel drive, simplicity.
And the hybrid violated every single one of those.
It was heresy on wheels. It added weight. It made the car all-wheel drive. Andreas Pruniger, the head of Porsche's GT cars, he's basically the high priest of this religion. He was really honest about it. He just said, our customers don't want this.
Even if it's faster.
Even if it's faster.
Yeah.
GT3 buyers want the emotion, the feel, the sound. They don't want an artificial hybrid system, even if it shaves 2 seconds off their lap time.
Feeling beats physics.
In the luxury world. Every time. If the car is faster but less fun, it's a failure.
And what about the rules? You mentioned balance of performance.
BOP, the bane of modern race engineering. Organizers want all the different cars to be close in speed to make the show exciting.
And how do you balance a car that has a magic boost button?
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
You can't. If they let it run free, it wins every race by 3 laps and all the other brands quit. And if they restrict it so much that it's fair, then Porsche is spending millions on tech they aren't even allowed to use.
So it was just too good for the rule book?
The rule book just wasn't ready for it. So the Flywheel 911 dies a quiet death. It gets put in the museum. But was it a failure?
I'm guessing you'd say no.
Absolutely not. It was a bridge. A very expensive, very necessary bridge.
A bridge to where?
To the future of Porsche. They didn't stop making hybrids. They just moved the technology. All the data from this race lab, the software, the energy management strategies, the logic, it went straight into the 918 Spider hypercar.
One of the Holy Trinity.
Exactly. And then it went into the 919 Hybrid, the Le Mans prototype. Now, the 919 used batteries, because by then battery tech had finally caught up.
But the brain of the car.
The brain of that car, its logic, was born in this 911.
And the 919 went on to win Le Mans 3 times in a row.
So the GT3 R Hybrid was a sacrificial lamb. It did the hard work. It proved the math was possible. Before this car, hybrid meant Prius.
Slow, boring.
After this car, hybrid meant performance.
It's amazing to think about that specific moment, though. 2010, 2011, it feels like, I don't know, the last gasp of analog innovation.
That's a great way to put it.
Because now everything is software and chemistry, solid-state batteries, over-the-air updates. But this was a spinning mechanical object. It's almost steampunk.
It was visceral. Drivers said they could hear it spin down, this high-pitched whine inside the cockpit like a tiny jet engine.
Yeah.
It was physical energy storage in an increasingly digital world.
So final verdict, technical success.
100%. It bent the laws of physics.
Commercial success.
Not at all. A total zero. It didn't fit the brand, didn't fit the customers, and didn't fit the rules.
It's like the velociraptor of hybrids.
How so?
Fast, clever, lethal, but it was an evolutionary dead end. Nature selected the bird instead. The battery won.
The battery absolutely won. There's no question the flywheel is gone. But for those 2 years, that orange and white Porsche showed us a really cool alternate timeline.
A timeline where we solve problems with momentum instead of chemistry.
Exactly. It's a reminder that new doesn't always have to mean digital. Sometimes the best battery isn't a battery at all.
And that's a great thought to leave things on. As we all rush toward this electric future where cars are basically iPads on wheels, will we ever see a solution this mechanical, this physical, ever again?
I doubt it. But I'm really glad Porsche had the courage to build it.
A soulful machine. We don't get many of those anymore. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the Porsche 911 GT3 R Hybrid, the car that stored speed in a vacuum.
Always a pleasure to look back at the what-ifs.
And to you listening, keep asking questions about the weird tech you see. Sometimes the failed experiments teach us more than the successes. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.